Hi, I'm Anant, and if you see, the topic is bit tweaked a bit. So I had proposed a topic which said like how we built an app in 24 hours, but last month we ended up building 3 apps in 3 different hackathons. So I wanted to bring all the apps and talk about what we learned while building them. How many of you know what a hackathon is? Yeah. How many of you have built some app in a hackathon? Okay, cool. I would like to explain what generally hackathon is. Usually they give 24 hours and you form a team after going to the place, and then you start with an idea and then try to come up with a presentable demo at the end of 24 hours. And there will be a demo where usually it will be like there will be some prizes awarded for top hacks, or it's just in some other hackathons like DroidCon hackathons, it's just pure fun. You go there, you build, and then you have fun. That's it. So little bit about I am Anant, and my Twitter handle is Anant, and I'm co-founder at TripThirsty.com. It's a online marketplace for discovering adventure activities around your city. And like very recently, like a couple of days back, we launched a Goa edition as well. Do check it out. So now, TripThirsty, it's actually a web application. But during my free time, I kind of explore lots of Android-related applications. Before TripThirsty, we were building apps for travel and commute. We built a set of apps over travel and commute. So our first app, I'd like to talk about few of the apps that I have built, so at least you get an idea of what I'm up to. So first app that I built is called Suruk. Suruk was actually a digital meter on your phone. So basically you install this app. It will use GPS to find like how much distance you are traveling. So if you're in an auto rickshaw and then they switch on the meter, you can actually use your phone as an alternative meter and then in real time know whether the meter in the auto rickshaw is actually correct or not. On top of it, we built features like you can actually rate the conduct of the driver in whether it's 4-star or 5-star, and then you can actually build a community of people who are traveling in autos. That was our first app. It got really featured well across the media. It gave us confidence on taking this path of mobile app development, and that's when we ventured into app development as such. So, and the second app is called OneTouch SOS. It's a very simple app. It's basically one button app. So the app just has one button which says like, I'm in an emergency, help me out. So once you press, it would actually find the exact location of where you are using GPS and network location and translate it into a readable address, and then sends as an SMS to 3 of your friends who you must have pre-configured. So it's just one click, in 10 seconds all of your friends know that you are in danger and where exactly you are. They will have a readable address and a map link to the location you are. So it's one of our very popular apps as well. And one of the apps that we built was called Copa. It's the idea behind it was I attend lots of events in Bangalore. By the way, I'm from Bangalore, and whenever I attend events, like certain events happen in other end of the city. So either I take a public transportation or take my own vehicle. And after reaching there, while interacting with people, I discovered that there might be many people who would have come to that same event from near my house. So basically, like you miss out on opportunity of carpooling when you are going to the same event. So we built an app where like you say like which event you are planning to go, whether it's DroidCon or other such events, and then you will be shown like people who are around your home location who are also going to the same place. So you can actually communicate with them and then maybe get a shared taxi or maybe take their own carpool with them. So that's the basic idea behind it. So other app, this was built in last year DroidCon hackathon. It's called Droid Juice. So it's a simple app where like you can have a profile of your battery, phone battery, which is accessible online. So with the data that we get, we try to say that if you're using a Samsung Galaxy, all other people who are using the same phone have this much battery life, but you just have this many battery life. So you can know that maybe there are certain apps that you're using is draining more battery, so you can have an idea of rough estimate of how good your phone battery life is. So this is one such app. And this is one of an app that I built to solve my own pain point. So many friends ask me like, can you recommend good Android apps that I can discover from app market? So it's very difficult to say that like you try this app and the other app by just the name. So I wrote this app where it will actually show all the installed apps in your phone. You just select them and then say send. It will actually send the Android market URL of all those apps in a sequential order in an email. So all they have to do is like just open the email and then keep installing the recommended apps. And it's one of our cooler apps, I would say. It's called Through the Gully. Imagine like your friend wants to come to your home and then he is stuck in a place which is a known landmark. You would like to tell him how he needs to come from that place to your exact home. So you can actually use this tool to draw a map saying like this is, you take a left over here, take a right over here, take a straight and then come to my place and then share it to him. You can use the app to see the same route in a map, or you can turn on the augmented reality filter, using which the friend can actually take the phone and then see on the road. He will find virtual bubbles floating on the road. So he just needs to follow them and then he will be reaching your destination. So that's one step. We use the Layer, which is one of the SDKs which you should try out. And this is one app that we built for another company. It's called MapUnity. It's for discovering bus routes in Bangalore and other cities. So it actually helps you find what routes to take and the route. And for a particular bus, you can find what are the stops it takes on a map and all those cool stuff. These are the apps that we built earlier, and these three actually we built in the last month's hackathon. So coincidentally, there were 3 hackathons happened in Bangalore, and in each of them, I had teamed up with a different group of people and built all these 3 apps. So each of the apps are built in 24 hours. So I'd like to share like how we built and what each of the app does. And one disclaimer, like I know that the crowd is maybe beginners to Android, so certain insights that I got while developing the apps, it's meant for rapid app prototyping. You cannot use the same concept while you're developing a production quality app. So it's more hackier, so you should be aware of it. That's it. So the first hackathon that we went was conducted at Google office. It was a travel specific hackathon. Usually hackathons don't have a theme, but this had a theme which actually said like there will be a group of developers who would have come to on one side, and there are travel companies like Redbus, Cleartrip on the other side. So they actually matched group of team of developers, like 3 developers, to one travel company. So we got like paired up with Cleartrip. So the idea was like the company would tell what are the pain points or cool ideas they want to see as an app, and the developers pick one of the ideas, and then in collaboration with the company's one of the product manager, an app should be out in 24 hours. So as I said, it was Cleartrip for our as a mentor. We started with exploring many pain points around travel. So Cleartrip, as you know, is good at the third. I would say travel has 3 phases. One is you dream about travel, and then you start researching about it, and then the last part is like you book the tickets and all those stuff. Cleartrip is really good at the third part, where once you know that this is where I am going to go, you can actually use their site to book flights or hotels or whatever. But the earlier part, where like you are just in planning phase, they don't have as much presence. So they wanted an app where like if it would be good if you can collaboratively like discuss with friends on some new plan that you are planning to take 2 months after, and then even drill down to what all places can we go. If it's a 10-day trip, what we can do in first day, what we can do in second day. So that was the basic idea that we started with. And then we drilled down to like what exactly can be built in 24 hours. So that's when we thought, okay, let's build an itinerary creation app, collaborative. Like it's a mobile app where all the people who are going on the trip will be able to contribute to the ideas on what to do in day-wise order. And one usual approach I take is when you are discussing an app with your teammates, you have to be like very clear on what exactly you are going to build. Everyone in the team needs to be on the same page. So one approach I take is like, I try to compare the app that you are going to make to an already existing app in a different domain. So for example, this app, when you say collaborative, we wanted to bring real time as well. So one thing that I could always remember is real time collaboration on web. I could remember Google Docs. So I'm sure like everyone knows like Google Docs is awesome in real time collaboration. You open a doc and then everyone can see it. You edit, it appears everywhere. So we wanted to put the app that we are going to develop as Google Docs for trip planning. So this, you have doubt? Yeah. No, I'm not talking about like exactly Google Docs. I'm just taking the concept wise what Google Docs is. It enables collaboration between people. So it's exactly what we are going to do. We are going to enable collaboration between people who are going to do trip planning. So that's exactly. Then we went to the whiteboard. So the first approach, I mean, with whatever app you do is like you go to whiteboard, start sketching out the different screens. So first we had a couple of discussions, and then we had like, okay, there should be a way in which we say like which place you are going to go to, and then how many days the trip is going to be, and then substantially have other screens where like you have like day-wise partition where you say like in the day one you can go to this place and stuff like that. So if you know that the third screen has a important thing. Basically the core of that app is that screen. So even if I don't build the first two screens, if with the third screen I can make a working demo of the app. That is very important when you are in a phase where like you are doing rapid prototyping and in 24 hours you have to something out. Pick a very important piece of your app that needs to be done first. So usually like when you're doing a production quality app, like you start with there are 5 screens, you develop first screen, second screen, and then move forward. But in rapid prototyping, you prioritize the screens that are very much required, and then you start with the highest priority and then move forward. So we started with the third screen because that's the core of the app. So a small side note on mocking up is like I mean these are the entire talk is how I proceed with developing the apps. So. First I usually use pen and paper to sketch out basic level of app, and then go to whiteboard if possible. Because if you go to whiteboard and then invite your teammates to start discussing on what needs to be done, like the discussion goes in many directions and you may not be able to reach to a conclusion very soon. So I started with the bootstrapping content of like these small mini screens, and the content of it, after you finalize in the pen and paper, you go to whiteboard, and then people will have opinion on what should be there, move the screen over here or there, and all those steps happen on whiteboard. And there are other tools as well, like you can use Balsamiq it's actually a desktop app where you can do the wireframing, like boxes of what needs to be there in which screen and what are the items needs to be there. And I use other tool called Kaku.com. It's an online tool. It's collaborative wireframing. So basically you can draw a wireframe on screens level stuff and share it with friends, and they can also suggest the stuff on online. And I will also talk about a tool called proto.io towards the end. So, and another thing is you can, see these are just the last 3 ones are like just cooler way or maybe easier way. You can use Microsoft PowerPoint to do mockups as well. That has all the tools that is required for doing a mockup. So this is what we finally came up with. This we named the app Hermes. Like I think it's a Greek god of travel or something like that. And so this is the simple screen. You have like how many days your itinerary is gonna be, and then you have option to pick places from a pool of suggested list. If you use the top pin option, you will be able to pick a place and then drop it on the day-wise option, and then you can move it across. The cooler part of it is like I'll show maybe a video demo of it. Before that, I will tell how it works. So basically, like the app sends the data to Firebase. Like as Arvi said, like Firebase is an awesome tool for real-time collaboration, real-time message passing. So we used Firebase for it. So basically, we send the data of what this person says. Like we need to go on day 1. send that message to Firebase. Firebase broadcasts to all other people. So everyone would have the same information in the screen. So basically the idea is like at any point of time, all the people collaborating on a IT should have the same state. So I'll show a working demo of it. I mean, as it involved many screens, I've shot a video of how the app works. So basically, if you see, like, one person chooses a place, then moves. So it's real time, like it's not even a millisecond delay. So this is what the app did. Like we give suggestions based on the current look. If it's lay, we give points of interest around lay. So it comes, and one person says like, no, let's not go on day 1. Let's go out on day 2. Everyone agrees to that. Basically, like the state changes. So it's as simple as that. This is what we built, and after the itinerary is formed, you can actually see all those places in a map. So that's basically we built over there. And as I said, it used Firebase as a backend. So we saw the demo of Hermes. So this is the first app that we built. Do you have any doubt or any questions related to this app? Okay, let's go to the next app. So this is the app. Actually, I proposed it as the main app for the talk. We built an app for simplifying audio conferencing. I don't know, like how many of you used like a corporate level audio conferencing solution. Like they have a number to dial in. They have a have a bridge number that's called, and they have a pin. Like if you want to be a part of the conference, you have to dial to the number, dial in a pin. Only then you can be part of the conference basically. On the other hand, if you want to do it by yourself, you actually you call someone, put them on hold, you add other guy to your phone, and then you repeat it. Like if there are 5 people, you have to do it 5 times. So having a conference for 5 minutes, if you want to have a conference for 5 minutes with 5 people, the setup time itself would be 10 minutes. It's pretty tedious. So we wanted a way in which, like, if we can simplify this process somehow, that would be cool. So we thought like, okay, let's build something that is as simple as like with one button click, if the group of people whom you are going to talk is known, we should be able to make a conference in 5 seconds. Can we do it? So that's when we explored lots of options like how we could do and stuff. That's when we learned about a service called Exotel. So Exotel it's a Bangalore company, and they're a cloud telephony provider. So they give APIs for you to do all kinds of telephone operations. Like using an API, you can send an SMS, you can call some people, and they have an advanced APIs where you can even make a conference call. We use that, and then we wanted to build an app. So. No, it's not free because every call is like 40 paise, 50 paise, so it's not free. So if you want to send a message to a WhatsApp group, what do? You go to the group and then send a message. It goes to everyone. What if you want to make a similar approach where you have a group where you press call, everyone in the group are put into a conference call. That's the basic idea we started with, and we'll see what we did. So this is what we finally built out. So it's more of a WhatsApp clone UI base. So you have groups for that you have based on your phone book contacts. If you open one group, you will find people who are part of the group, and then you have an option say call. So what happens when you say call? So this is what happens. So we basically send the information of who are all the people part of that group and send it to Exotel. Exotel actually individually calls each one of them as we get an incoming call to all these people, and when they pick, everyone is in a audio conference call. That's as simple as that. So imagine like in 5 seconds, it can go to 20 people group as well. Everyone will get a call. Yeah. So basically like we send a HTTP request with whom all to call to Exotel. Exotel like individually parse each of them and then make a. Now, even I will see, I am the call initiator, so I am the guy who will get. So even if I say press call, I'll get incoming call. And same with all the 3 of them. The moment you attend the call, everyone will be on the same thing. So, would you like to see the demo of it? So, even for that, it's pretty tedious to have 4 phones running, so I then shot a video demo of it. What? Prime? Yeah, we have to actually get an Exotel account, and then like we have to do a verification and all those stuff. Yeah, at my end, and then they will give access to API. So I have to get a paid Exotel account. So this is how it looks like. As I said, like this is the groups that I am part of. So each of them has certain number of people based on my phone book. So once you open, I find all of them. So I will just skip to the part where I make I can add as many number of people from my phone book. So that's also there. Sorry for it, like I couldn't, yeah. So basically, like now I would use the same app and then say press call. I wouldn't do anything else. Say call. All the people, information would be sent to Exotel, and I have all the 2 phones around. So I was the person who made the call. I got an incoming call. Same with other 2 people. So when each of them picks the call, they are immediately in a conference, nothing else. And one important thing to note is like only the phone that had the app needs to be an Android phone. So the other thing is actually a Nokia Asha phone. So it's not dependent on any of the other the participants to be on a smartphone. So it's because everything is other than this guy is like happens over telephone, normal like Airtel tower to here. Nothing fancy data is happening. So this is Exotel, and one side note I want to make here is like here we discovered Exotel. See, if we had to build the entire system ourselves, it would have been a startup and it would have taken 1 year. So, but we are able to do it in 24 hours because we knew what are the existing players that are there, what they offer. So you need to research a bit more when you are having an idea. Like there might be already so many API providers that does that. So as like I will clearly put, like Firebase is one awesome tool. Like there is Parse as well, and there is Ink. Ink is specializing in file picker. So basically they have a JavaScript SDK, Android SDK, using which you can, if your application needs an image to be shown, how would you do it? You just add Ink Android SDK. I think you can use Aviary SDK. That's also pretty free, and only if you reach a pretty high limit, you will be starting to pay. And it's a good problem to have as well. And while developing the apps, like in a very short period of time, I learned certain stuff. One is like, important is like you have a size discussion and mock-up phase where like you clearly sort out what you are going to build, and because you can't revisit and then change, like okay, I will add this other feature and stuff. So you have to be clear on what you're going to build and then freeze at the point, and then split the complete project, like whether there will be like a server dependent. So one person must take care of it, other is an Android app part. So everything should simultaneously progress, and then you have like around 70-75% of the entire hackathon period. Around that deadline, you should have a presentable demo. So presentable, I mean like it will work, but it will look ugly. So if you are able to get to that state at around 18 hours or something, after that you can spend the rest 6 hours in polishing the app, making sure like okay, when you're presenting it's nice and stuff. So but if something wrong goes in the last 6 hours, it's fine, like you have a presentable demo. So that's how you have to aim. Like I find so many people who are new to hackathon, they don't follow this, and then at that end, towards the end, like they will be realizing that okay, we should have had a presentable demo, but they wouldn't be me. So I just wanted to give as an advice, and polish is secondary. And hot coding is okay. This is one of the like points I want to be clear, like don't do it in like real life production code. Here, see for example in that Trefan, that conferencing app, at a time only one particular conferencing can be made. You can't do multiple. Like if the same app, same set of group is there, and then they also want to make a conference call, it won't happen because we had a limited account from Exotel, and then only one number we had leased from them. So it's fine. Like if one group works, it's fine. Like you prove that as a business it's viable, and if you want to make it as a full-fledged product, you can put so much effort into it afterwards. So the whole point of rapid application development is like you have a workable app in your hand, and then you convince people like with it, like whoever it is, like whether it's investor or whom you are going to talk to, like say that this works as a proof of concept, it will work. That's the basic idea behind it. And another thing is like you have to bring some key interactions as much as possible. See, there are certain apps where the interaction like gesture is very important. Like there is an app called AnyDo. It's a to-do list app where they have really cool animations and the way they interact with tasks in your app. So for them, interactions are very important. If you are going to build something similar, try to bring it at the early like MVP stage of your app as well. Okay, you saw that ref and demo, right? So we'll go to the third app. Third app is, if you see, like if you saw in my first slide, I wrote an app called Apps Cloner where I wanted to share apps on my phone to my friends. So, but that had a problem, like in the sense, like I can send, I have to create that list every time. Like if someone asks me, like tell me like 5 good apps on Android market, I have to go to this app, select 5 apps from my from the list, and then send them email. But what if it's even more simpler? Like what if there is a unique URL that I can, it's owned by me, and then it lists all the apps that I have installed or my favorite apps is. So that's when the idea behind it started, and it was developed in this last month's DroidCon hackathon. So we wanted to create a shareable link using which I can discover all the favorite apps of that person. So you can consider this as Delicious for apps. How many of you know what Delicious is? Yeah, very, very few people. So I'll tell like Delicious was a service, or it's not a very popular service anymore. So they had an option where you can create bookmarks of like your favorite websites. So like you can say like in sports category, these 10 websites are really good, worth visiting. You can actually have it as a list, and then you can share with people, like saying that these are all my favorite sports category websites. It's just saying like your name / sports. It will list all the websites. So basically, like instead of you yourself discovering all such websites, your friends would have spent so much time in curating such lists. So Delicious was very good app in having such thing. So we wanted a Delicious kind of things for apps. So that's the reason behind AppFolio. We named it appfolio.me. So basic idea is like we have this app where it shows all the apps installed on your phone as a list, as a grid view. And then you have option to pick what wants to go to your favorite list, and then you just select them. Immediately we would sync this data to a server, and then you can access it via appfolio.me / your name. So that's the basic idea. So this is how it looked like. After I selected few apps, it just immediately gets synced to the server, and then you can access via appfolio.me / Anand, and all the apps are here. On each of the app here is a link to the market store. So you just click on it, it takes to the market store directly. So that's AppFolio. And I want to show maybe a live demo of AppFolio itself. I have it on my phone. So basically, like so this is the app which has all the installed apps in my phone. So I will actually maybe select this third app, which is Google Analytics. So the moment I select it, it has become part of my list. So if I think net is pretty slow, okay. If I now go to the URL, it will have actually analytics under it. So I'll show you from the browser maybe. So if you see, like, I added that analytics apps just now, and it's become part of my list. So the more you can actually add, remove as much you want, and then you can say that, like, if you want to know what my favorite apps is, just visit this link. And this link is like always fresh, like, because you have access to it in your phone. So that's exactly, it's like very simple app you wanted to build, and it was even built less than 24 hours because maybe the hackathon was a shorter one. So that's Appfolio. Which this app actually is live in App Store. If you search for Appfolio now, you can use it. It's a beta app, so there might be some bugs, but it's live in App Store. Just if you have an Android phone, you can directly download now. So that's Appfolio. So I will just take 2 minutes in explaining maybe a rather new concept called hybrid prototyping. I think I actually came up with the term myself because I found that prototyping involves tools like maybe you do PowerPoint and more static level screenshots and then share, and then it might be it might be useful for geeky friends where they understand this is how app works. So if you wanted to explain to maybe a different set of crowd, say even before you build the app, you wanted to show to like your potential users of the app how the app would look like, you can use this pretty good tool called proto.io. They have a pretty decent free plan as well. So what it does is like gives you a canvas where you can actually drag and drop UI elements of Android into the screen. So basically on the right side, if you see, like I have a image bar. I think screen resolution is a problem. But, yeah, so basically all the UI elements of Android are available to me. I just need to drag and drop into the screen. So given that many of you are beginners to Android, you can even straight away go to this platform and then you would have had some ideas on certain apps to build. You just use this tool to just have 4 or 5 screens of what the app needs to be, use the UI elements, and then there are very simple scripting tools as well. So if you say like I have screen 1 and then login is the button name, you can say like on click of it, take a value from this text box and then assign it to a variable. So it's more, if you're used to Visual Basic, it's like what 10% of intensity than Visual Basic. That's it. It's very simple, and you just say like go to the screen. So I don't have time to explain the complete thing. You can. It's completely explanatory. So I will just give a preview of how it would look. So basically, if you had seen my earlier Appfolio demo, I have tried to recreate it through proto.io. So it took me like 10 minutes for me to do the same app and then give a feel of how it works. So maybe you can show it on my phone, but it's basically like it's the same emulator. You can actually run it on your phone as well. I'll do that maybe. That gives the actual kickoff. So basically, if I go to this share option, I have a barcode. I have a barcode over here. I just need to scan my phone to the barcode. Yeah, and then I say open browser. Yeah, I think like at least to get how it looks. I say a name. And then say login. So basically it has the app, how the individual app screen comes. I can touch on it. It becomes enabled. Like I'll show it in the browser. So I type a name. And then say login. So basically, like this is the second screen I mocked up. So it has some apps. I click on the first app. it enables. I click on it, it is gone. The name Anant is taken from the previous screen. So you can have a completely dummy but professionally looking app using Proto.io. So that's exactly what I wanted to demonstrate, and I'm open to questions.